The first thing I noticed when I stepped into the apartment was the smell, cinnamon. Not the choking sweetness of candles or potpourri, but real cinnamon, like someone had been baking. The scent felt out of place, given why I was there. People don't usually prep dessert before they get their brains blown out. I locked the door behind me, silencing the faint click of the latch with my gloved hand. The target was supposed to be alone. My guy at the bar said she lived by herself, no pets, no boyfriend, just a routine job. Easy money. But something about the vibe of the place felt off. Too clean. Too alive. I moved through the apartment like a shadow, careful not to disturb anything. My boots barely made a sound on the hardwood floors as I scanned the dimly lit living room. Photos lined the shelves, smiling faces, a couple of sunsets, a black and white dog that didn't match the intel. Still no sign of her. Not yet. She was supposed to be here, home from her shift at the hospital, asleep in her bed. Easy pickings. I reached the hallway and paused. The bedroom door was slightly ajar, a thin strip of light spilling out onto the carpet. I drew my gun and approached, my pulse steady. This wasn't my first rodeo. Inside, the bed was unmade, covers tangled like a storm had passed through. And there she was, sitting at a desk by the window, back to me. Her silhouette was illuminated by the glow of a laptop screen. She was humming softly, a tune I didn't recognize. It felt serene, peaceful even. For a moment, I almost hesitated. Almost. But this wasn't personal. It's never personal. Just business. I took the shot. A single round. Right through the back of her head. She slumped forward onto the desk. The humming cut short. The sound of her body hitting the surface was louder than I expected. But no one came running. No screams. No sirens in the distance. Just silence, save for the faint hum of the laptop's fan. I stepped closer, heart rate still even. Reaching into my pocket, I pulled out my phone to snap the confirmation photo. That's when I saw it. A man's face staring back at me from the laptop screen. He looked confused, maybe scared, his mouth half open, as if he'd been mid-sentence. A video call. My blood went cold. This wasn't right. My target didn't have a boyfriend, let alone one who called her late at night. I glanced down at the body, dread creeping up my spine. The hair was wrong, shorter than I remembered from the surveillance photos. The clothes didn't match either. Scrubs instead of pajamas. And then the face. When I turned her over, it wasn't her. Not even close. My stomach dropped as I stepped back, my mind racing. Who the hell was she? And where was the target? The man on the screen was shouting now, his voice muffled by my panic. I couldn't make out the words, but I didn't need to. I knew this was bad, real bad. I killed the wrong person. Someone who had nothing to do with any of this. I grabbed a towel from the bathroom and wiped down everything I might have touched. The door handle, the light switch, even the edges of the laptop. My hands were steady, but my brain was a storm. How did I screw this up? I double-checked everything. The address, the timing, the intel. It all lined up. So where was she? As I worked, the cinnamon scent clung to me, taunting. I caught sight of a pan of cookies on the kitchen counter, their edges just starting to blacken. Whoever she was, she'd been baking, humming, living her life. And now she was dead because of me. My phone buzzed in my pocket, pulling me out of my thoughts. I glanced at the screen. It was the client. "It's done," I said, keeping my voice low as I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. "Good. Got the photo." I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the camera app. "Not yet. Cleaning up. You'll have it in 10. Fine. And remember, no loose ends." I hung up and shoved the phone back into my pocket, while rising in my throat. No loose ends. Right. But now I had one, a big one. I slipped out of the apartment and into the night, my mind racing with possibilities. Do I go after the real target and finish the job, or do I disappear before anyone connects me to this mess? Either way, the clock's ticking, and I'm not sure how much time I have left. The rain started to fall as I walked to the car, fat drops slapping against the pavement. Each one felt louder than it should have, like the universe wanted me to know I'd screwed up. I slid into the driver's seat, tossed the bag onto the passenger's side, and sat there, staring out the windshield. The cinnamon smell was still with me, lodged in my nose like a bad memory. I couldn't shake it. I pulled out my phone again, my thumb hovering over the client's number. I needed answers. Something wasn't adding up. If they gave me the wrong intel, that wasn't on me. But if this was a setup, then I was already a dead man. The call rang twice before a voice answered. Not the smooth, professional tone I was used to. This was clipped urgent. "You're late," the voice said. "The target wasn't there," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "You sure your intel was good?" A pause. "Too long." "What are you talking about?" "She was home. Alone." "You're saying you missed?" "No," I said, my grip tightening on the steering wheel. "I didn't miss. But it wasn't her." Another pause. This one shorter. "Describe the scene?" I gave them the rundown. The apartment. The woman. The video call. The cookies. I left out the part where I nearly threw up after realizing what I'd done. When I finished, the voice on the other end was calm. Too calm. "Get out of town. Now." "That's it?" "No explanation." "There's nothing to explain," the voice said. "You made a mistake. Clean up your mess and disappear. You won't hear from us again." The line went dead. I sat there, the rain coming down harder now, washing away the last bit of clarity I had. Disappear. Like how? I wasn't about to vanish, without knowing what was really going on. I pulled out the laptop I'd swiped from the apartment, powering it up in the dim light of the car. The man's face was still frozen on the video call screen, his mouth open in a silent scream. I clicked out of the call and started digging. It didn't take long to find her name in an email thread. Emily Morrison. Not my target. Not even close. But there was something else. A message flagged in her inbox. From my real target. The subject line read, "It's done. You're safe now." I clicked it open, my heart pounding in my chest. The message was short, barely 2 lines. "He'll come tonight. I've set everything up. Don't worry, you won't be there." My stomach turned. This wasn't a screw-up. It was a setup. My target had been one step ahead, using Emily as a decoy. She knew I was coming, knew I'd take the bait. And now she was out there, free, while I was left holding the bag. Literally. I slammed the laptop shut and tossed it onto the passenger's seat, my mind racing. The cookies, the humming, the peaceful scene, it had all been a trap. A way to slow me down, make me hesitate. And it worked. I started the car and pulled out onto the street, the rain blurring the city lights into smears of gold and red. I didn't know where I was going, but one thing was clear. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. She wanted to play a game. Fine. But now it was my turn. And I don't lose.